So my speech began with a hook to ask the audience to imagine having two worlds with different values and worldviews. This was effective because it created curiosity immediately and led listeners to relate their own lives to my life. My reason to listen statement was also effective because I connected my personal experience to a universal concept, living between cultures and using multiple experiences for self development. This likely engaged the audience, especially those with multicultural backgrounds or those facing change in their own lives. My specific purpose was to show how the mixing of Albanian and American values has helped make me resilient, adaptable, and appreciative of diversity. This purpose directly influenced my reason to listen statement as I promoted the audience to consider their own backgrounds and how they shape identity. My thesis statement that the blending of the two cultures helped me become who I am today. My credibility statement was likewise effective because I was speaking from experience, demonstrating that my speech had been built on deep self-examination. My preview of the main points also effectively outlined the structure of my speech, guiding the audience through the main ideas I wanted to discuss. The main ideas of my speech were consistent, parallel, and logically connected. I structured them as follows. Growing up in an Albanian family where I found family tradition and strength, experiencing American culture, which opened my eyes to open mindedness, reinvention, and optimism, and how the blend of the two cultures affected me, leading me to construct a unique attitude of personal growth. Each of these main points was well developed, I think, and followed logically from the previous one, and it made sense. My speech was emotional and personal, and the audience could identify with my experience. I employed ethos by presenting first-hand information in the form of personal experiences, which gave me credibility. Pathos in my speech was through the emotional appeal to family, tradition, and personal conflict in juggling two cultures. This would have made the audience empathize and connect with my life events. The speech was also original in how it was presented, with the metaphor of two worlds and combining them into one to form a unique identity. The language was likewise informal, controversial, rather than academic, which was suitable for a speech rather than an essay. It made my presentation more engaging and natural for the audience. My transitions were clear and effective, connecting my points in a coherent manner. For example, when switching from discussing Albanian culture to American culture, I used a transition that acknowledged respect for my roots but showed the necessity for change in pursuit of development. This helped maintain the logical flow between my key points. My conclusion effectively signaled the end of my speech with a conclusive closing statement. I restated my thesis and main points by recouping how the two cultures have made me more resilient and an open-minded person. My audience response statement prompted listeners to examine their own lives and use their diverse experiences to shape their own unique identity. This was a good call to action because it made the audience feel personally invested in the speech and its message. The conclusion was effective because I reaffirmed the notion that people who are stuck between two worlds are not lost, but more so limitless. By introducing change as a potential rather than a thing to be feared, I left the audience with something inspiring and introspective to take away. I could improve a bit on the delivery as it seemed like I was kind of reading off a screen and the eye coordination with the audience wasn't that good in my opinion. But I did vary my volume and pitch and rate of things to keep them interesting and emphasize my key points. I employed strategic pauses to allow the audience time to observe important ideas, which contributed to the success of my message. I did not have any vocalized pauses such as or which I think are pretty important as they just kind of throw off the flow of the speech. So I tried, pretty hard to stay away from those. Three things I was proud of in my speech were my ability to deliver a personal, engaging speech that connected with the audience, my smooth and logical transitions that were effective, my memorable and powerful conclusion that stayed in the memory. Some areas that I could improve on though are enhancing my body language to make my delivery expressive, achieving more variation in a tone and the pace to make my speech dynamic. And if I were able to deliver the speech again, I would seek to enhance the delivery by ensuring that my nonverbal cues are compelling and what I'm saying, you know, gives the message a lot stronger. And I realize I just said there, and I shouldn't have, but I'm working a bit more on that. So for my next speech, I will attempt to make my introduction even stronger by establishing credibility earlier. In the body, I will attempt to work on my transitions to create maximum clarity. For the conclusion, I will practice my last line with conviction and passion in order to have an even bigger impact. Overall, the speech was a rewarding experience that I could reflect on my personal growth and cultural identity. With my strengths and weaknesses in mind, I can continue to enhance my public speaking abilities even more and become an improved communicator, as I'm really trying to become more in tune with my public speaking and improve my qualities and skills in it, as I know they will definitely come in handy and be extremely helpful in the future for me. So, yeah.